Hello and welcome to World of Tanks with me, Cricketwes. Got another review for you today. This time it's going to be on the FV4202, the Tier 10 British medium. As I'm recording this, it's patch 9.10, so it is the current Tier 10 medium, but afterwards it is going to be a Tier 8 premium tank. Because, of course, as some of you may know, in patch 10.0, this thing, the FV4202, is being replaced by the Centurion Action X, which I'm much looking forward to. But I'm also going to be a little bit sad to see this thing go. It's just the Prius, fastest tank to 40 kilometers an hour. Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit sad to see it go, and apparently the Tier 8 Premium isn't going to be very good. But let's move into the armour. This being a medium tank, the armour is not great. It's 121mm upper front plate, but the angle, or the sloping rather, means that you can bounce some shots from some Tier 10 heavies and Tier 10 mediums, especially if you angle it there. And well, lower plate, if anyone's got enough sense, if you're angling, they'll shoot the lower plate, because that is only 76mm thick and pretty much anything can get through that. This strip here is 197mm thick, but that's pretty much just flat on, so anyway, anything can really pen that, as long as they've got high enough caliber gun. Well, not high enough caliber, but high enough penetration. Most Tier 9s and 10s will easily pen that. Side armour, not great. It is, what is the side armour? 51mm. Not fantastic. You do not want to side scrape in this thing, especially when you've got Tier 10 mediums and heavies firing back at you. And the rear 32. So armour, not fantastic. Turret armour, not that much better, to be honest. 196mm on the lower half of the turret. You can get some lucky bounces if they shoot the turret cheeks, but the top of the turret is only 125. And most people are going to be shooting, if I get onto the hybrid bit, shooting over here into the turret cheeks or just turret front, which most tanks can pen. If you're shooting at an FV4202 from front on, like flat, you might get some lucky bounces on the turret top almost, because of that angle, 65-degree angle, then you're going to be very lucky to penetrate that. Some Tier 10 TDs will probably go through that. But if tanks don't shoot the front of your turret, you've also got the cupola, which is 196mm and is quite obviously a weak spot. And yeah, most tanks will be able to hit that quite easily. Turret side armour, if you go back onto the collision model, still that 196 and 120, so most tanks will go straight through that, and turret rear 120 and 35. So yeah, this tank isn't that well armoured, and with it being not too fast either, artillery will quite like this thing, especially if they get the rear or side of this tank, because the top of the tank is only 13mm thick, which is not great. I think I've only been one shot by arty once with this tank, probably by a CGC, knowing how balanced those things are, right? So gun depression is pretty good. It's 10 degrees apart from at the rear, where it is 3 apparently it says that, and 0 at the rear. 3 almost at the rear, and nothing at the rear of the tank. Because the turret, well, the gun's mounted quite low down on the turret. If we go back onto here, so yeah, the gun is mounted quite low down. If we turn that all the way around to 180 degrees, look at that. There's no way that you can fire that gun. Well, you can fire the gun alright, but you can't put it down. So yeah, that's that. But overall, the gun depression is pretty good. 2,837 DPM, that's standard DPM. I haven't got any equipment mounted on this yet. Standard 105mm gun, the Royal Ordnance, 268mm penetration, 390 average damage. But the interesting thing about this gun is that it fires HESH as premium ammunition. So you get 210 premium HESH pen for 480 average damage and 105 non-premium HESH pen for the same 480 damage. There's no point in really firing HE or non-premium Hesh in this tank, because well, if you fire premium Hesh you get more penetration for the same amount of damage, which is why I load 12 Hesh shells in this thing now. Reload without any equipment, 8.25, but I've managed to get my reload down to about just over 7 seconds, about 7.1. Aim time 2 seconds is pretty good actually. Accuracy 0.31, again quite good. View range 410, still pretty good. You might want to mount optics on this thing, but I'm more of a brawler and not of a spotter, so I mount ventilation. 1950 health, well, standard for a tier 10 medium armor. We've talked about 40 degrees, not 40 degrees, 40 kilometers an hour forward speed, 20 reverse, and a power to weight ratio of 20.4 horsepower per ton, which is pretty good. This thing is quite good at accelerating, and it's also quite manoeuvrable with 50 degrees per second traverse speed. Pretty much all of this we've talked about. Total weight about 40 tons. You don't really want to be ramming too many tanks in this, especially not E50Ms, but you can ram some, like the Soviet tier 10 mediums and Leopards and so on. But I think we've pretty much talked about all of this. Equipment, I would personally go for ventilation, a gun rammer if I can find it, and vertical stabilizers. You don't want to go for gun lane drive because it's vertical stabilizer Mark II, that should be, and this gives you, if you can read it, 20% to accuracy during movement and turret rotation. So with the vert stabs you get 20%, gun lane drive you get 10%, and also the turret traverse of this is quite fast, so yeah, it is worth having. Vertical stabilizers, consumables, you just standard consumables, first aid kit, repair kit, and fire extinguisher. Crew skills, commander, 6% obviously, and for some reason tanks.gg doesn't show that, but hey ho. So 6%, brothers in arms and all of that good stuff. So I think we've talked enough about the stats and the armour of the tank, so let's move on to the replays. And here is the first game I have for you today, obviously in the FV4202 on Red Shire, normal game on Red Shire. So I'm going to be heading over to this castle bit which they've added in patch 9.10, I've been in there before, and I haven't actually been over this side of the map that often. I usually either camp at the ridgeline like a Skemberg or go the heavy way. So I haven't really been over here that much. So I load to Hesh as soon as I see the RU, which is probably, it turns out to be quite a good choice to do so. So there's an Indian Panzer and Death Star, both of which I can pin with Hesh. Death Star I can't see, Indian Panzer I can. I've just realised I've still got 1x2 speed. Yeah, 504 damage with Hesh. Average damage of this is 480 as I mentioned earlier. Aim for the lower plate of the Centurion, it hits the track and only does 170 damage. Now then, Tiger 2, easily pin that with Hesh, 503, and I take no damage in return as his shot goes into my tracks. Aim at the lower plate, he gives me a side, so I shoot that instead, 485 damage. He puts a shot into me, but I don't really care. Finish him off with a Hesh shot and ammo rack him actually. And that brings up 2000 damage already, less than 2 minutes, or just over 2 minutes into the game. And there's a Centurion I shot at earlier. Still got Hesh loaded, I have 10 Hesh, or I had 10 Hesh shells in this match. Put a shot into him, 495 damage. I don't really get many rolls over 500 with Hesh, which is somewhat annoying, but it's still more than I would be doing if I was firing standard APCR. So I'm wanting that Centurion to either back off or push around that rock so I can get more shots into him. But the T54 mod 1, which is basically an up armoured T44, he goes ham. T71 goes to help him. There's a Death Star, I aim for the lower plate. Shot goes high into the upper plate, does 68 damage. So much. So I switch back to APCR, and the Death Star and the Indian both get away before I can reload. So I push up along with this T-71, try and hunt for the artillery, reload back to Hesh. 3 Hesh shells remaining. How many of them do you think I'm going to penetrate? Only 1, 2, or 3? Or none, because RNGesus giveth and RNGesus taketh away. So I'm wanting this T-71 to push up with me, because I think artillery may be around, hiding around here, as they usually do. Hesh pen into the rear of the FV4202B1X3, the Death Star, for 413, so quite a massive low roll on that last Hesh pen. That shot in there didn't penetrate, and that shot went a bit high into the Indian Panzer's gunman little turret, so it doesn't penetrate. And now I'm down to my standard APCR, and I've already done 3.4k damage with Hesh. If all of those penetrated, I'd be up to about 4,900 by now. But yeah, it's not to be. Luckily the next replay, I do pen all my Hesh shells, or at least most of them. A little bit of a spoiler there, but oh well. Trying to get a shot onto this Death Star, I can, but it's his turret, and they did buff the turret a few patches back on the Death Star, so that didn't penetrate. Cautiously pushing around here because I think artillery may be hiding somewhere. Turns out they're not. I don't know why. AMX-50B camping base, I can't get a shot into him. Death Star gives me his side, 413. Same amount of damage I did with that Hesh pen earlier. Aim for the lower plate, shot goes low, hits the ridge below him. Slightly better aim shot, and RNGesus was on my side for that one. 409 damage more, and up to 4,208 damage with 1 kill. Scores are fairly close at 7-6, but position wise my team we've got them all cornered into about a quarter of the map, so we should win this one quite easily. Fall back into cover for that Death Star. He can one-shot me if he's firing Hesh. T-71 manages to snipe his lower plate and kills him. Pushing up on this 50B now. He's just behind the rock, so I can't shoot him. There's a Borsig, and this shot I don't even know. With a British gun with good accuracy, that shouldn't really have happened. And I use a server reticle as well. And this is where I was wishing I had more Hesh, because that Borsig I'd have done so much more damage to him with a Hesh shell. But I still do just over 400, which is nice. Can't quite fully aim in time to get the killing shot on the Borsig, but it doesn't matter too much anyway. Pushing up on the 50B, no idea where he is apart from behind that rock. Don't know how much health he's on. I don't know why I said I don't know where he is, because I know where he is. I don't know why I said that. But yeah, pushing up on the 50p. As I said, don't know how much health he's on. T-71, quite brave, going around there despite knowing what else could be around here. Because we know that E100 IS7 and Waffenträger are all over there at one point. Charioteer gets a nice shot on that 50B to finish him off. And now it's just 3 tanks and 2 artillery left. So it should be plain sailing from here. And there's one of the artillery, there's the E100 and the IS7, and the Batchat artillery as well. All of them in the space of 2 squares. Finish off the artillery, kill secure, that 70 damage. And the E100, this is the accuracy of the gun. Nice shot into the E100's view bar. That is a weak spot if you've got an accurate enough gun to hit it. IS7 reasonably tough from the front, but I'm shooting down on these upper glacis, so that negates the angle of the sloping end of the pike nose, so that will go straight through all day long. And that's the last shot I fire on the Waffenträger. 393 damage. Still wishing I had more Hesh shells to fire, but excuse me, 5,400 damage and 3 kills. So that was a first class mastery along with a few minor tokens, 5 for effect. One you get for ammo racking someone, I can't remember what that is on there, along with high caliber and tanker sniper. Moving on to the team scores, I didn't come top on XP, that goes to our T71, but I did come second with 1044 XP, that's base experience, with 5.7k damage done and 3 kills. So the detailed report says 20 shots fired, 17 hits, 17 penetrations, which is a complete lie. I didn't penetrate all of my HESH shells, and over 3,100 damage done, more than a distance of 300 meters, which is why I got the tanker sniper. And I even got about 800, just over 800 spotting damage and assistance damage in there as well, even though I did lose about 5,000 credits because HESH. So let's go on and see the second game. And the second replay I have for you today, again obviously in the FV4202. This time I'm platooning up with a.k.a. and Minorca, a.k.a. being from Circ 3. He's in an IS-8 trying to grind to the IS-7, and Minorca in the FV215B, British tier 10 heavy tank. So me and a.k.a. we're going to head over to the 8-9 line by the river Volga, I do believe. I think so, if I remember my history correctly. But yeah, I'm going to start off firing APCR as you normally do. I don't just insta-load HESH whenever I see medium tanks on the enemy team. But yeah, this is the speed of the tank, 40 kilometers an hour. It's I can deal with it because I'm used to playing this tank. I've played, I think this is my second or third most played tank with about 500 battles or something like that. It's ridiculous. And I've only got 1 mark of excellence. I know, I'm disappointed. Trying to get a shot on this STB1. I know he doesn't have the best turret armour. That shot just missed him, I think, but it probably would have bounced anyway. So I missed my first APCR shell trying to get another shot on the STB, but he doesn't come up enough. And you may notice my ammo loadout in this game. I've got 8 premium HESH and 2 non-premium HESH. In fact, all the damage I do this game is from premium HESH. Shot on the Borsig, 441, again another low roll. I'm used to low rolls with this, with HESH from this gun. It's annoying, but what can you do? You can't do anything. Lower plate of the STB1, thank you very much. 454, again a low roll. It does get annoying after a while, but as I said, I'm used to it. So there's a bat chat there. He has no armour. Oh, and he's giving me a side. How nice of him. 492 damage, just above average of the 480 average damage. He puts a shot into me. I somehow set him on fire by shooting into his turret. Logic. Penetrate him for further 475 damage. And there's a T44. I could have stuck with my HESH, but no, fire just after he died, so no damage there. Reload back to HESH for this WZ, thinking that I'm going to get that 438 damage, but the LTTB shoots him, penetrate him on the move from that range, from that distance. I'm going to easily hit that 99% of the time. Reload back to APCR, I've done 2.7k damage and gotten a kill, all with HESH, which isn't bad going, to be honest. I fired 6 shots, 6 HESH shots, which have done damage. So I should have, I can't speak. I know what I'm talking about, sort of. If all of my 6 HESH shells penetrated, then I'd have done easily more than that amount of damage. But I picked up that kill on the WZ as well, which is also nice. E100, last tank left alive. This is a bit of a risky shot. 470 damage in the rear of the E100. 150mm rear armour the E100 has. Penetrate him in the turret. 490 damage to pick up. Not my second kill, but 3,600 damage anyway. So not much to see here at all really. Second class, mastery badge along with bruiser on 5 for affecting no special medals at all. And since I got a second class mastery and not my first class or an ace tanker, once again I didn't come top on experience earned. I only got 845, but 3.6k damage with just Hesh. That's pretty good as well, along with the single kill on WZ. And finally the detailed report. 10 shots fired, 8 hits, 8 penetrations. The 2 shells that I missed were both APCR shells, but all 8 Hesh shells penned, not all of them for full damage obviously. Not much damage blocked by armor and barely any spotting damage as well. And I even made a profit of 310 credits. So to sum up my opinion on the FV4202, it's an alright tier 10 medium. It's probably not one of the strongest. That probably goes to either the Batchat or the E50M in my opinion. But it's got a very good gun and it's very manoeuvrable despite the lack of top speed. And the armour is somewhat trollish apart from the turret, which is good because we're getting the Centurion Action 10 next patch. So if you enjoyed this video, you can give it a like, you can favourite it, you can subscribe to my channel for more World of Tanks content as well as other games. If you want to submit your own replays for me to showcase on the channel, you can send them into the emails popping up on screen now or in the video description down below. And as always, hope you enjoyed watching and I'll see you on the next one.